Are you sick of a Shou-Lao heavy meta? Are you looking for something to compete? Well, this deck is currently running as the highest win rate deck out there, and it's definitely been a lot of fun for me to play. In this video, I'm going to break down the deck, some matchups, and show you guys some gameplay in real time, breaking down the steps that I'm taking. So here is the deck. It is currently the highest performing deck out there from what I've seen on statistics. And it is the Chamber Dragonlord deck, which, if you've been playing the ladder recently, you've more than likely seen this snuck in there a couple of times alongside old Shou-Lao. So, I'm going to go through each card individually here, tell you its role. I won't tell you when to play it or anything, because I'm going to do that in the gameplay. But just to explain why everything's here, Chamber is one of the best performing cards from the most recent seasons, I would say for sure. And it's going to pull 2 power from every single, almost like over half the deck here. And Valentina technically counts because she's giving you another 6 drop. So Chamber can often be 11 power, 13 power sometimes. This card is insane. Grandmaster is mainly in here for Dragonlord, I won't lie. It does have a couple of use case scenarios with things like Blink or Lunar Snow, but they're less favourable. Valentina is in here for the reason I mentioned before, just an early played card and you can get a 6 drop out of it. Electro and Luna are in here for the ramp. Dragonlord is in here to pull a big card out of your hand, which oftentimes by the time you're playing him, your hand will mostly be full of big cards. Blink is amazing with Electro, mainly. You can use Blink with other things in here, obviously, but if you Electro turn 3, you then have 5 energy to Blink on turn 4. Which is insane because then Electro can pretty much only become a 5 or 6 drop. That is one of the best plays. You got War Machine in here for things like being able to play Giganto and Infinite however you want, but also being able to play past the Electro negative of only being able to play 1 card a turn. And then you have the big chunks. You have the Red Hook, Galactus Footsteps, Giganto, Infinite. These are the biggest 6 drops in the game. And I have been tempted, possibly. I know I'm making this video just before the launch of Fing Fang Foom, which is why I've called the deck Fing Fang Boom. But I was thinking of replacing Giganto with Fing Fang. We're going to have to see how that card plays out, but it only has the limitation of the energy. But seeing as you have Lunar Snow and Electro, most of the time when you have 7 energy on the last turn, you're just playing a 6 drop anyway. So being able to play Fing Fang might be kind of crazy. Gonna have to see how that works, and I'll test it out tomorrow when the card actually releases. Probably more like today, based on when this video is more than likely going out. But yeah, without any further ado, let me show you the matchups. So I played roughly 25 games across a few sessions, and I've noticed a pattern emerging between a few decks in matchups. This deck beats the more greedy linear strategies, but struggles into the more heavy combo clean execution, as you don't really have anything to combat it. Let's start with the Favoured Matchups. We have Destroy, Move, Discard, Living Tribunal lists, and Mirror. I suppose Mirror at the end of the day comes up to individual skill. So with Destroy, I tended to win most of the games. The opponent, if they didn't have many good Destroy paths going early on, everything that I did outclassed what they did, and even when they did manage to get a larger Deadpool, often or not they didn't really have the null Deadpool combo, and the one time that they did, I was able to outclass that location based on the raw chunk of the big boys. Next up we have Move, and the Iris Move deck is everywhere at the moment, and it has been crushing Shou-Lao from what I've seen. Surprisingly though, this deck seems to beat it on most occasions. It's sort of predictable with what it wants to do, and most of the things you're wanting aren't necessarily on reveals. You have a couple of on reveals, but if you can avoid their Cosmo, most of the time you'll be able to outclass this. Next we have Discard. Now Discard is doing a lot of work with things like Dracula and Weapon H just to get cards that are like 14, 16, 20 power, when you can just play a card that basically converts a 3-drop into one bigger than that. And most of the time, that alone can give you the win over this type of archetype. Now, Living Tribunal isn't really a big archetype anymore, but I have seen it a couple of times. And in the games that I played, I was able to outclass it because it split its power across 3 locations. That's the main issue. If you're focusing on 2 locations with the bigger units you're able to pull, you can outclass its power. And then when it comes to the mirror, you kind of need to know how to play the deck to kind of play off against mirror matches. A lot of the time it does come down to luck and being able to get that good pull from Dragon Lord pulling things onto the board when they end up pulling bad things. It can be a purely luck-based thing at the end of the day. Next up we have the even kind of matchups, and honestly, most of that was Shou-Lao. I was really hoping that this deck would be able to surpass Shou-Lao, but I roughly went about 50-50 when it came to wins and losses against this deck. A lot of the time you can kind of outclass most of what it's doing if you know where its power's going. The only issue is, as in one game, I had the opponent buff their Scarlet Spider with the max points that a Shou-Lao can, and flooded all 3 lanes, and there's nothing you can do against that, seeing as you don't have any tech cards. That's the one downside, but if they don't get most of their good tempo plays out, you can very easily outclass what they're trying to do. Now here are the unfavored matchups, and a lot of these are more combo heavy things that require people to play tech against them. The first one is the Dakin style list, which yes, surprisingly or not, I did see a couple of times, and they were playing it and their Dakin scaled to like 128 power, which there is no way my deck can do anything against that, sadly. Next up we have Cerebro. Now, this Cerebro 3 matchup, I had like a couple of good matchups, but I had one very bad one because I completely forgot about Valkyrie. I did have a way that I could have won, but purely because I played everything into the middle, they just Valkyried it and set everything to 3. That is the one thing you'll need to look out for against playing that deck, otherwise most of the time you could probably get points higher than what they're putting. And lastly is the zombie decks. Again, still seeing a couple of those here and there, but when they can then buff their horde massively and do zombie giant man to absorbing man, those things tend to go higher than what you're trying to do, sadly. Now, when it comes to snapping and retreating, I will show most of the good points when to do this in the gameplay section as I talk you guys through every game that I played. But I would say for the main snap, it's if you have Chamber and Chamber is able to get massive. And the other one is if you have Electro in play into Blink, and you know that it's going to pull something big. That, most of the time, is a very good snap. And if you have Chamber with those two as well, I would 100% snap. Most of the other time, it's kind of hard to predict when it's good to snap. I would say if you're able to do Dragon Lord and then Grandmaster after, and you're guaranteed to pull good things, do there as well. Be cautious of snapping when you play Luna to ramp things, because then of course the opponent also has that extra energy. Is the one thing you'll just need to be a bit careful of. Another snap is probably if you have a massive Galactus that you're going to be able to play after you've basically had that position won for a while. And when it comes to retreats, honestly, if the opponent snaps, they're probably going to be able to do something that stops you. If you see a Stardust, which I'm going to let you guys know is definitely something you want to leave. If you're playing Dragon Lord into Stardust, it does not pull the card onto the board, and that is something that can probably very easily catch people off guard. Another retreat is if you're just drawing a bunch of big cost cards at the start, and you're not able to play anything early, like you're not playing any of your 2-drops or any ramp cards, and by the time it gets to turn 4, you're ramping. I'd probably give up at that point. I had a game like that where I could have probably won if the right things landed, but I only started playing on turn 4 and I didn't want to take that risk. Another retreat is if you haven't triggered your Chamber and they are able to Deafening Chord it, and then your plays after aren't very ramp heavy or anything, because you definitely need to rely on Chamber getting big in that instance. And the other one I would probably say is if you're facing off against a big combo heavy deck, like a Man Spider sort of thing. There's no way that this deck can surpass the power that that's trying to put out, and seeing as we don't have any tech cards in here, it's a little bit iffy. Valentina's not too bad of a card to lose. Okay, we always play Chamber. And then this is where we hope we get Electro. Oh, very nice. Electro into Clintar is actually pretty good as well. Just so we can be safe. If I had Blink, I would almost always play Electro on the left instead. Blink hits it and pulls out a bigger card, basically, that Chamber can trigger off of. But seeing as we don't, Clintar is good enough. I think we do Dragon Lord. Again, a very niche situation, but if Clintar wasn't getting rid of Electro, it would probably be War Machine. But in this situation, Dragon Lord hoping we don't hit Dazzler. Okay. This is a Mr. Negative deck. And I suppose just putting down a big chunky Giganto. I'll wait on Chamber's ability just in case I draw like Infinite. Although realistically I don't think there's anything that I'll draw that will give Chamber more of a buff than what I already have in hand. Okay, this is looking like the bot Mr. Negative deck. In which case, it would have been better to snap before we were winning. I would always be scared of snapping against a bot if you're winning, seeing as they will likely retreat. So let's just do... Let's just supercharge the location here. And then put Dazzler in the middle for the extra buffs.
I am Iron Man.
Oh, that's kind of scary, actually. Pretty close for a bot game.
Victory!
Okay, so turn 1, we almost always skip with this deck. Makari's interesting. Could be Cerebro. Valentina always have a Grandmaster because there's no reason to play Grandmaster. Zola is an interesting pick. I think we now Grandmaster. Seeing as we don't have Dragon Lord or any energy buffs yet, we might as well go for a play like this. Yeah, that's what I was expecting. Sadly, we don't seem to have big pop-off play here. I do think Luna into... Well, I was going to say Luna into, like, Red Hawk. Into Arnhem Zola. But sadly, Strange Academy was a thing which is making that a little bit awkward. And... next time we have 7 energy. Can't really do much with it. So let's just Dragon Lord now. Hopefully we hit Arnhem Zola and then it hits Dragon Lord. That would be the dream. I'm surprised they didn't play their Ice Cube inside of armor. Also glad it didn't hit Arnhem Zola after they put armor there. Well, I don't think there's any way that I win this one. So we retreat.
Escaped!
when your game plan doesn't play out by pulling a lot of big cards, it's almost always worth retreating, especially if you're only on one cube. Okay, so this game looks like we're up against a destroy deck. Hopefully this can give us null. And Dormammu. Must have missed the animation at the start. Goliath is quite scary. This is all looking very nice for us right now. We can... Well, we hope we draw Blink or War Machine, because those two are much better to play than Dragon Lord is, but failing that, it's always Dragon Lord. This is interesting. They're getting multiple Dormammu spells. Yeah, we got Blink, which always makes it Blink. At least then Electro is either going to become War Machine or Red Hulk. Red Hulk obviously being the better of the two here. Very nice. There are also arguments where playing Blink in the middle would have been better, because then final turn I could play Dragon Lord on the left into Grandmaster if I were to draw it. Okay, where are we anticipating they're going to play their spell to bring Dormammu down? More than likely on the left, but we can't be sure they're going to play it this turn, so I'm just going to play for power right now. Okay. 26 is pretty strong. The only downside of playing Goliath here is if they don't actually play Null here and they play it in the middle, we could be in trouble. But I haven't been keeping track of how much they've destroyed. I'm not necessarily sure it's that high. Our other option is probably to try and beat their Dormammu on the right, but I don't think there's anything else I can play alongside the energy I need, because I need at least 12 here. So I think in that case it is just this, yeah. Because Electro doesn't buff it even with Red Hulk to be high enough. Very nice. I suppose irrelevant either way, seeing as I never played a 10 power card there, but
Victory!
Not far enough of a lead in that game to warrant snapping. Yeah, but they're playing move. This is unfortunate. Both those locations are too good for them. They're going to have to hope playing things on the left and middle is going to be enough. Although it's looking like we're going to have quite the powerhouse, so it might not be too bad. This Human Torch play, however, is quite scary. Okay. I think it's always just Red Hulk. The next turn, Dragon Lord Grandmaster. But we have quite an empty hand here, unfortunately. The cards it gives me aren't going to be too great. Okay, our only chance of winning here is hulling Luna Infinite, I guess, and hoping that they just commit power to Death's Domain, but I'm imagining Spider-Punk's going in Death's Domain. And if they have Living Tribunal, it might be a saving grace, because it might scrap the points of power over to the other side, where we don't need them.
Such is my judgment.
Okay. Now we just need Infinite on the left. Can we do that? Nice. And actually... Nice. A little bit scared there for a second. But Living Tribunal actually saved us in the end.
Victory!
We could almost scare snap them here. Seeing as they have just hit our Giganto. I'll play as Electro into War Machine, into Giganto, Dragon Lord, something like that. I think I'm happy enough to snap.
Snap!
Wow, 10 power Maverick. That is quite intimidating. We got Blink. Now, I did like the idea of Blink, but seeing as Electro is now 10 power, I'm not entirely convinced. Guess it's a good job I didn't do that. Huh. Call Obsidian into Valentina. Either that or we just play Giganto. Let's just play Giganto. Wow. 17 power Kitty Pryde is nothing to scoff at. Now, they might commit to the middle. If we do this, Valentina goes left and always becomes a Red Hawk or a Galactus. As long as they don't put Kitty on the right. It's 18 power, right? Yeah, that's going to draw me on the left. Let's let it play out more so for curiosity's sake. I tend to not retreat. I would probably recommend retreating here, knowing they have a crazy power Kitty Pryde and they're probably going to play Shou-Lao. If they play... okay. So it's Kitty on the right side. Oh, never mind. I was about to say, they just played right into their own Cosmo.
Victory!
That is interesting. Okay, well, for advice, I would leave that game. But I suppose if you're as lucky as me and your opponent decides to play their Shou-Lao into their Cosmo, then you might be okay. Interesting. Oh, Kunlun in the middle is nice. I'm playing Chamber left, because if I get Electro, I want Electro to be on my Chamber location when I blink it. Very nice. Well, this is the God Hand situation. We're going to blink Electro. Now, I could see arguments for playing War Machine because of Big House. You almost always want to make sure you're getting big house playable, because there's not very much you can do here. Another possibility would be to do Grandmaster for Electro, but again, you're kind of limiting yourself, so you always do this. I chamber now, seeing as it's the best point in time to get the most procs. Maybe we sacrifice, right? Might not be the worst idea. Play Red Hulk in the middle. Just don't be Gambit. Oh, it's Gambit. Well, as much of a pain as that is, unless they have a Scorn to discard, we're actually going to be okay. Yeah.
Victory.
Well, they only have one card in hand, so I guess we would have been fine regardless. Oh, very nice. This is a crazy bad opening hand, so unless you see any signs of turning it around, I would recommend having your finger ready on that retreat button. Yes, if we draw Galactus first steps, it's almost an auto retreat. Ouch. I was hoping they hit my Infinite or Giganto. Yeah, in this situation, I'm going to play it out because they haven't snapped yet. But it's almost always a retreat. They are actually destroying me right now. I suppose they can't play their Shou-Lao. Oh no, they can play their Shou-Lao. They played once in future. Well, if you decide to snap me here, I am leaving in a heartbeat. I'm doing this because of possible Grandmaster. I mean, it's the only real play here. Nice that they played their Cosmo on that lane. I guess they're scared of me doing something crazy. Okay, well, we didn't get the Grandmaster. And even if we did, I still don't think that this is a game worth staying in. We were losing quite early on. Oh, Clintar. That is interesting. This means after turn 4, it's going to absorb the zombie horde and summon another one. Oh. I'm putting Electro here for Clintar, but if you had Blink, again, situation Electro on Chamber. Again, I keep forgetting about that, but I would recommend proccing Chamber as soon as you can against a deck like this. Do not make my mistakes. Ooh, now Dragon Lord. Dragon Lord into Grandmaster here could be very nice. You Dragon Lord the Grandmaster there, then Dragon Lord goes middle and pulls something like Infinite. Red Hulk we kind of want to stay in our hand, unless it's pulled first, that is. I just don't want it going into Clintar because I can see it scaling a little bit more. Well, the exact thing I didn't want to happen just happened. Okay, never mind. We're actually a lot better off. I'm going to snap because I'm guaranteeing him hitting Infinite in my hand.
Snap.
Oh, I am not. My bad. I forgot I actually had Electro in play. But never mind.
Victory.
I guess my misplay scared him off. I suppose me having 30 power in a big house is scary enough. Ooh. Sinister London is actually very good for this deck. Tempting to snap. But Central Park makes it worse, sadly. I'll leave it for now, just in case. Mainly because I don't know what they're playing yet. They want the energy. I don't see many Jennifer Kale decks these days. And a Jennifer Kale Rhino deck at that as well.
Oh, snap.
Okay, I'm going to snap because I can Infinite. There we go. I had a feeling they'd retreat. Sometimes it might be worth doing that sooner, as soon as you see Sinister London. My only fear is if the opponent was playing something like a Black Panther deck and they just got like incredible value from it. But Sinister London with squirrels placed on top of it, I guess, makes that not great for most decks, so probably snap in that situation. Okay, well this is almost always Cerebro. So now I'm putting this here to contest it. I think buffing Chamber by 8 might be good enough for this. I doubt they're going to be able to compete. They might just fill the location. Okay, they seem good. Odin, that's a very nice pull. I had also, for some reason, not realized Dragon Lord counted. Although, Dragon Lord into Grandmaster into Odin is kind of nuts. So I might leave it. This is a bit of a gamble, but I'm just going to leave it. This left location at most can become like 27, which we must always beat.
Oh, snap.
That's why I'm going to snap. Anything pulled here is great, actually. Blink gives me something incredible. Probably the least optimal thing to pull. Nice. Mainly because I wanted to make sure that I had the Odin play. Okay, now for this play though, this is going to be incredible. I believe we're in a pretty solid position.
Are ye worthy?
Oh, they didn't even have Mystique. Nice, well, it is just Galactus left or right. I suppose I just choose whichever one I think is going to be better. I suppose 1/3 drop on either location, they win it, so I'll put it here. Valkyrie was something I completely forgot about. Whoops. Okay, so we're looking at no ramp necessarily yet. We want to make sure we have things in danger room just in case. And yeah, a little bit scary. I will chamber here just to be safe for a deafening chord. It is possible. Right, I mean, it's very possible against a Merlin deck. This almost feels like a snap condition. Okay, they did that for the danger room prop. Now, I could snap here. The only downside to doing that is because I've just drawn Electro. If Dragonlord pulls Electro, we're not in a good spot. Very nice.
Power must be controlled.
Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi's kind of annoying to see. I still think Galactus here is the best option. They're likely just going to Shou-Lao plus maybe Kitty Pride. And if they do that, right is just gone, so I'm not going to worry about that one too much. Yeah, Kitty Pride is 2 power, right? Becomes 4 power with Lake. And that makes their location 12 if they were to do that. And actually, hold on a second. If they Shou-Lao middle, Werewolf jumps middle, and that leaves the right side open. So I think I have to take the gamble of Galactus on the right. They Shou-Lao left. Move becomes 11. They get 19 power. Wow, okay. And it just got shot. So, never mind. Not even Shou-Lao either. Are they going to make their werewolf finish in the middle? No, but that was very close. Literally came down to danger room. But if I had put Galactus in the middle as well, it would have been fine. So actually, they had a big flashy play there, but if I had played any card and it stuck on the right, I would have won. Any of the cards from my hand, so that definitely came down to that being bad luck. Okay, I think the cards we both lost there are about as important for our decks as each other, so... They've also given away what deck we're both playing. This is very good for me, however. And Blob can be a very good end of game card if we still have some big chunky things in the deck. I'm going to Luna Grandmaster. My thought process there is I didn't necessarily just want to play a big card straight away. I wanted to make sure I had some support backing it up. I can then blink here. We have a card in the middle at least. I could just Giganto. Might be a good idea. If I were to blink, how would I do it? Next turn I would have 7 energy. Seems like it could have been a good bet. Still have Blob for the Infernaut, more than likely. I could Electro into Blob. Blob just feels like a finisher card, that's the only thing. Let's try this. This is going to be a difficult one to win, I think. They have a lot of move cards, so middle might just be lost. Okay, they still have Otto's Lab. I'd forgotten about that. And we used the Ice Cube. We did, however, lose Infernaut. I can just Electro Blink. Blink the Electro, it becomes Dragonlord and pulls, hopefully, Infernaut. If it pulls Blob, we're kind of in trouble, but... Although I suppose if they move anything middle, they're taking... Yeah, Betrot. Okay. Not sure it matters, but please hit Infernaut. Oh. Okay, interesting. Huh.
It's collaborate time.
Well, funny how that game worked out, huh?
Victory.
Okay, so White Hot Room isn't too great for us. Looks like it is for them, though. I think I'm going to activate Chamber just to be safe. There is the possibility of them playing Deafening Chord next turn if I'm not winning, so I just want to make sure I'm all good. Nice. Well, I'm glad they did that. Tempted to snap off the back of it, honestly.
Snap.
Okay, well, seems like they're not going to leave. I do kind of need to draw like Dragon Lord or something.
The future.
Ah, Jocasta. Would have been nice if I had kept Magneto. Oh, never mind.
Victory.
That is an example of a very good snap condition, though. Oh, double chamber. Now that's what I'm talking about. Honestly, could have probably been a snap condition. I don't know if to Lunar Snow, you know, purely because they're going to also need those cards. Let's do this. I'll snap because getting a whole bunch of really powerful 2-drops is nothing to scoff at. Kyera, interesting. Let's keep this up. We probably just War Machine. If I had extra energy, it would have been good. We'll just War Machine, and then next turn, I would say Infinite, but Red Hawk is looking bigger, so we'll see. Okay, so they are the Grandmaster deck. Do we just Infinite instead? They're playing Grandmaster, they also have 4 energy to spare, which maybe means they don't spend all their energy. Let me just bet on them not spending all their energy.
Victory!
There we go. Very surprised they stayed after I got all those chambers, but very good snap condition again. Honestly, I think it's probably Valentina. She gives a card that you can kind of plan your game around a little bit. And you don't want Chamber out too early because of Deafening Chord. Living Tribunal is actually very nice. Sentinel is not. We're hoping Spider-Ham hits our Infinite here. Honestly, whatever it hits, I'm not too bothered as long as it's not Living Tribunal. I think we can make some nice stuff work. Okay, very nice. Honestly, every time that happens, I still just think it's a snap condition.
Snap!
At least then we don't need to worry about having War Machine down. I can Dragon Lord on the left. It still has a possibility of pulling Grandmaster, or if it does, we're kind of cooking.
The mystery intrigues me.
Yeah, 15 power, wow. Okay, Lockheed just removes the point of that location pretty much, but the location and Lockheed are fighting. So I think we'll be alright. Let's do Dragon Lord. It's always Dragon Lord. The only dud is Sentinel. Everything else it can pull is very, very nice. Okay, and now we need to anticipate them playing Shou-Lao. But even if they do, yeah, I just need to make sure all of my power scales above it. Okay, Dragon Lord's going middle. If it pulls Infinite, then great. Is it just better for me to play Infinite, do we think? You know, because they Spider-Hammed it, I might just play Infinite here. We get the 2 buffs on Living Tribunal. Does a deck like this play anything to cancel Living Tribunal out? I'm not entirely sure. But let's go with it. If they play it to the end purely for a Shou-Lao, I might be surprised.
Hello! Can you understand me?
Okay, they reset power. Wow. Even with reset power, we were still pretty good.
Victory.
That was definitely the right play. Yeah, if we Grandmastered and Sentineled or something and it just pulled War Machine, then the power points wouldn't have been as high as just playing Infinite, especially with Magic Ball. Okay, it's the Destroy deck again, which makes Vormir annoying. They're definitely going to get benefit from that. And the sad thing is, even playing Electro in the middle doesn't feel that nice because I have Blink. Oh, and what do you bet? I actually got Electro as well. I always say play Electro on the chamber location, but I think purely because Baxter building is up, this is better.
What a game!
And then we blink it. We blink it and trigger chamber. Sure, let's do it now. Just to be safe. This deck doesn't really run anything that would worry chamber, but I just want to be safe with it. Okay. And now what we do... Oh, but Dragon Lord into Grandmaster on the last turn is actually very nice. I was considering doing Lunar Snow here and then Grandmaster on the left to move Blink middle, because at least then I'll have 8 power in the middle. I don't really need the extra energy either. I'm going to do it regardless. Just because it brings better powered things out onto the field. Yeah, and that right location is necessary.
I definitely need to change
Master
my
Strike
underwear.
is scary. I think what they're doing isn't that scary. I think I can reliably snap, you know.
Oh, snap.
They've only destroyed 5 cards, so Death wouldn't do too much. They would still be 4 cost even if they had 2. And then we Dragon Lord, pull something middle, and even if right doesn't hold, I believe the other 2 locations should have enough power to counter whatever they would play. This is a risky snap, though, because it's likely that the opponent would leave in this situation. I just believe they probably have enough things in hand where they feel like, never mind.
Victory.
Probably do it earlier once you see that their destroy stuff isn't taking off. Death's Domain is a tricky one for us. I do think Dragon Lord is probably the only real way. I guess Grandmaster as well. That is if it is in the middle location. Let's do Luna. We could do Luna Dragon Lord, maybe? Valentina's the only thing making that not seem too favorable. The other option is Grandmaster Valentina. Honestly, this might be better. Trigger Chamber as well. It's risky playing Dragon Lord for 5 power if it can possibly pull a Valentina or a Grandmaster. Another Giganto. Okay. We always just put Giganto left because this Red Hulk and Galactus can go at the other 2 locations. Spider-Punk looks like it will go middle or Luna. Yeah. It's just I don't see their power overtaking this left lane. Are they going to Cannonball? Could surprise them with that. I'm not playing anything else though. That's the only downside. It definitely looks like it's going to be Cannonball here. Cannonball. And then it will beat that location. Because it'll just drop a rock. Okay, let's try this instead. Wow. That was a very interesting play.
Victory.
Very happy it pulled Red Hulk. We needed to be 17 points ahead. Luckily we're 21, but if it wasn't Red Hulk, we would have definitely lost that. Okay, if we don't draw a ramp card here, we're in a little bit of trouble. Actually, very nice. Might be a snap condition, you know. Let's go for it.
Oh, snap.
They might be a little confused why I'm snapping. Okay, what we do here is we blink into Dragon Lord that pulls Grandmaster, that moves Dragon Lord to the middle, and pulls like Giganto or something. That's what happens here. I'm calling it. We'll see. Because I mean, there's like 1,000 possibilities here. Never mind. Let's pretend that never happened. Are they going to move their werewolf left? No, okay. Now, for tech cards in a deck like that... I don't know if they run them. Probably Shadow King. My fear is Shou-Lao, as it probably is with everybody in the game right now. It almost feels like 16 power here isn't enough, you know? Oh, I was really hoping that would be infinite. Oh, Living Tribunal is interesting. Okay, we have 7 turns, although maybe more than likely we don't because of Merlin. Again, I think this is another one of those situations where you more than likely leave. But because I like gambling, I'm going to do this, and then next turn it will probably be... Oh, never mind.
Victory.
Very surprising. I wonder why they left. There's still 2 turns left. They probably expected me to play Infinite. But yeah, if that Gladiator pulled Infinite, that would have been too funny. Okay. I was about to say they're probably playing an end of turn deck, but Arasham. Why are we playing our opponent's deck here? I was about to say, like, all of these locations. We're swapping hands on turn 6, more than likely, which is why I did that, by the way. I guess I can always Legion it away. You could Legion it so that they're just playing their deck. No, I'm not sure what to do here, honestly. Let's try this. Maybe just Legion next turn. Oh, so they are just playing Dragon Lord. What a weird game. Guess we'll just do Infinite in the middle. Do I snap? Like, what do I think they could possibly have in their hand? Have like a singular big chunk to give them. Yeah, okay. I could have also sent them the Infinite and bricked the hand a little bit more, but very weird game. I'll throw this one in there at the end.